Welcome to Digital Hospitality. I am your host, Shawn Walchef. This is a Cali BBQ and Cali BBQ Media production. We are coming to you live from the JW Marriott in Austin, Texas, thanks to Restaurant 365 and the Restaurant Transformation Festival. This is really cool for us. We've been a part of the LA Restaurant Transformation Tour for Restaurant 365. Then we went up to San Francisco. This is a national conference, sold out conference, and we're here to talk about all things digital and all things hospitality. I have Wayne Lipshitz, the CEO of R&R FMG. They said that I had to talk to Wayne, and I'm so excited to learn about you, learn about your business. We care so much. We believe that all businesses, not just restaurants, are in the hospitality business, and we believe that we are going through the greatest revolution of what technology can do for profitability, sustainability, and to help us do some really cool things. So welcome to the show.
Thank you. Appreciate it. My name is Wayne Lipshitz, and R&R FMG stands for Restaurant and Retail Financial Management Group.
So what do you guys do?
So basically, we actually have three segments of our business. We do outsourced back office accounting. So basically, we will do anything from A to Z, where a company, anywhere from 1 unit up to, say, 50 units, where it makes sense for them to outsource, we'll go ahead and we'll take over their back office, and we'll do all the outsourcing, we'll do all the accounting, take care of taxes, licenses, financials, weekly reports, take care of their vendors, pay their bills, process their payroll. So the full gamut of what you'd expect a back office to do. And then what else we do is we do outsourced executive services. So we've been CFOs of some growth companies where they need partial or fractional CFOs. We've been controllers, we've been COOs, we've been president of some companies. So it helps smaller companies grow until they can fill those spots with full-time people. And it makes more sense for them to bring on somebody full-time. And then about 3 years ago, we started working in the Philippines. A lot of our labor force is now in the Philippines. And we started a program where we do virtual CPAs, outsourced virtual CPAs. So companies that already have a full accounting department but want to lower their labor costs, we already have people that are completely fully trained on Restaurant 365, and they'll work as an expansion to their accounting department. So instead of them adding a senior accountant or accounting manager, they'll add one virtually in the Philippines that's dedicated to them, works with their team, works with their team, works on their accounts, and basically they usually do it at about a 70% reduction of what they would be paying in the
70%
States.
70% reduction.
It's a big difference. Yes,
that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. When did you learn about Restaurant 365?
So I happen to be, ironically, and it's an interesting story, I happen to be the first partner with Restaurant 365.
Really?
So I learned about Restaurant 365 in 2014. So I think they were established around 2012, somewhere around there. So I was doing the fractional CFO work. I had a few decent-sized clients. One was a Popeyes franchisee, which at that time had about 20 units. Today they have over 40 to 50 units. And the other one was a gourmet sandwich place called Urbane Cafe.
Really?
Which is
Urbane
now
Cafe is
Urbane
amazing.
Cafe. Yeah,
They're
terrific.
amazing.
Place.
We're in San Diego. We're huge fans.
Okay, sure. So I was with them before they opened their first location
Wow.
in San Diego. So basically, I was with them when they had 8 units, and I think now they're somewhere in the 20s.
Yep.
So I was there for both companies. I was their outsourced CFO. I worked with the Popeyes franchisee for about 7 years, and I worked with Urbane for about 3 or 4 years. Helped them build their accounting departments, etc. So to answer your actual question, so both of them, when I started with them early on, writing 2013, both of them were on QuickBooks. One of them was on Peachtree, one of them was on QuickBooks, and both of them knew they needed to make a change. So one of them was looking at some more sophisticated version of QuickBooks, and the other one was looking at Great Plains. And the Great Plains one, they were looking to spend. They'd already committed. They'd already, in their minds, committed to spend $40,000 to have the system implemented and set up to their
$40,000 annual.
$40,000 implementation fee, and then an annual cost.
Then an annual recurring. Yep.
Fee. So basically, at that time, I started looking at more restaurant specific companies. So I was looking at Compete and I was looking at Restaurant 365. Compete had been around for about 10 years at that time. Restaurant 365 was brand new in the game. And I spent some time getting to know Morgan. We spoke for a long time. He did some demos. I got him out to both clients. And ultimately,
That's amazing, Morgan going. I love the tech stories of when the founders are out doing the product demos.
Morgan,
the coolest thing is that Tony and Morgan will both be here at the event, literally doing what they built the company doing. But
absolutely.
As the companies scale, it's great to hear those original stories.
Morgan answered the phone, took the appointment.
Tech support,
drove
Morgan
down.
on tech support. When
we had tech support problems, he was the one I called directly.
Yes,
so
that's
absolutely,
amazing.
yeah. No, it was 4 of them at that time.
Wow.
So Compete was at that time they were very modular as far as their costs. Restaurant 365 was one package. The beauty of both of them was it was lease software, right, which was fairly new at that time. Everyone was still selling these big component packages. Mm-hmm. So they both left the decision to me. I made the hard decision of going with Restaurant 365, knowing they were brand new in the industry, knowing that they were still a startup company. RFMG at that time was also somewhat of a startup company, and I liked the synergies and all the rest of it. So we were their number 8 and number 9 installs.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So we worked with Brian Ackerson, who was, I think, their 4th employee, and he coached us through the installation. And we definitely had some trials and tribulations. They were moving over from a Microsoft, they were moving over to HTML5 at that point, and there was a lot of during the switchover. There was a lot of downtime and slow speeds and all the rest of it. I had both my clients questioning me what kind of decision we made here, but ultimately, looking back, everybody, they ended up buying Compete. They ended up being the leader in the industry. And both companies are still using them and have used them and love the software. And from there we've done hundreds of installs since then, and just absolutely love the software. So we've seen it all the way from when it was virtually a small general ledger package.
What do you look for in a tech partnership?
So definitely for investment in technology, right? So that they're growing and they're constantly evolving. So for example, with Restaurant 365, I mean, they've tried different financial reporting packages along the way. They've probably been through 5 or 6 different packages to get to where they are right now with their custom financial reporting module. So, and it's okay to do that. And it's okay to, I don't want to call it make mistakes, but it's okay to evolve. And that was fine. We just grew with them. We tried all the different packages as we went along. They allowed us to give our input and all the rest of it. And I think to really answer your question, I think we felt I did anyway, felt a lot more secure when they got some private equity money in them, and they could really invest in technology, and they could really invest in R&D, and they could really start going out and adding a lot more to their software. So I think that's really what gave us the comfort. I mean, it was 3 founders, and they did a terrific job. They supported us as best as they can with the capital that they had available to them. But when they finally got capital, they used it in the right place. They put it back into the company and really grew the technology.
So we always say that we learn through lessons and stories. So if we hear a story about a restaurant that successfully implemented a product or a service, what's the lesson that we can take away? You guys have case studies that you've done with Restaurant 365. Jenya Ramen Bar, can you talk about
let me come back to that in a sec, if you don't mind. So my background is I'm a CPA. I worked for one of the companies I worked for was Cheesecake Factory. So
I've heard of them.
Yeah, we've all heard of them. They weren't much when I started working with them. So at that point, there were 19 units.
19 units?
Yeah,
wow.
19 units. So we go back a bit.
How many units do they have now?
Now they have 300.
Wow.
Yeah, 300 plus. Plus they bought other concepts.
Yeah.
Right, that they've added onto it. But between their own concepts, they have about 300 plus units. So when I got there, we were working on ACPAC. We had 8 people in the accounting department. Each one of them had several number of stores assigned to them, as far as they were the bookkeepers for those stores, right? So we knew that the concept had legs. We knew it was going to grow. We knew we had to make some changes. We knew we had to build some infrastructure, and that's during my 4 or 5 years there, we spent a lot of time doing that. So one of the things that we knew we needed to do was to get another accounting software. So we went out. We even used at that time Deloitte and Touche, and we did a lot of research. And at that time, the big software that was used by a lot of the restaurant players was Lawson.
Okay.
All right. I'm not sure if you've
I'm
heard of
not-
them,
no,
but back in the late 90s, that was a big player. McDonald's used them, Panda Express used them, Chipotle used them. So they were a pretty big. They were a pretty big player. So we spent we finally decided, after doing all our research and everything, we decided to go ahead and implement them using Deloitte and Touche to help on the implementation. We spent, and the reason I'm telling you the story is just to show you how we've come in such a short time. But we spent 6 months doing the implementation. We spent $1.5 million on the software, and that's not the annual. That doesn't include the annual maintenance fee.
Mm-hmm.
And ultimately, we got a package that was as custom as it was going to be for us.
Yeah.
So today, I could go do that implementation in less than a month, in a fraction of the cost, probably under $50,000.
Amazing.
And it would be a system where they could add, or it could be completely scalable. As they grew, they would increase the costs, and as they closed locations, they would decrease the costs. And that's how simple it would be today using Restaurant 365. And I always tell that story just because of living through that and trying to get that perfect. And it even took months afterwards implementing payroll, implementing all the other modules. Where with Restaurant 365, I mean, we've done implementations in as quick as 2 weeks.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So to answer your story, we've come across some really great clients. We're based out of LA. Junior, you mentioned Junior Ramen. They have about 60 units across the country. They are a Japanese concept. They actually found us. They were referred to us by a CPA firm that was doing their franchise audits. So they have about less than 10 company-owned stores, and the rest of them are franchised. So they came to us. They were in QuickBooks, and we moved them over to Restaurant 365. We kind of helped them clean up their chart of accounts. We helped them with a lot of their SOPs and procedures and putting new processes in place. And ultimately, now they are able to pull reports very quickly. They're able to know what's going on in the business. We close the books within 10 days, and it's been a great relationship.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
What struggles do you see when companies are small and they get to the point where they actually need more services? What struggles do you see that they have?
You know, a lot of the businesses that we tend to deal with are moving from founders to bigger players, right?
Yep.
They know they need some capital. They know they need equity. They've always been very hands-on with the accounting or very hands-on with the processes, and just finding them to let go, spend money, and do those kind of things is usually the difficult part. I mean, for some reason they've done it for so long, they feel that no one can do it better than them, and just winning their trust, and letting them know that there's this whole array of services and benefits that they can get out of their software, getting them to that point, and letting them really believe that they've made a great decision is probably the biggest challenge. I mean, we always eventually get there. Sometimes it's rocky because you've got different personalities, but ultimately that's where you want to get, so they realize they made a great decision, they're with the right software, and they now have all the tools they need to run their business.
For you, why do you find it valuable for people, all different types of leaders in the hospitality space, to come to events like this Restaurant Transformation Festival?
So, I'm going to go back to Lawson for a second. So, when I was with Lawson, it's actually one of the reasons we went forward with Lawson. And when we're still deciding on the software, they threw their annual user conference. It was about 2,000 people. It was in Minneapolis. They had it at an airport hangar. They had the group Chicago playing there. So
An airport hangar, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
So it was a big deal and was a lot of fun and all the rest of it. But just the camaraderie and everyone getting together and everyone talking about the software and everyone doing everyone picking each other's brains and talking about what they do with their software and how they modified it, and it creates the ability to understand that there's so much more the software does, because there's always a lot more bells and whistles that you never touch.
Yep.
You just use what you used to
Yep.
what you're used to using, and then you start developing relationships with people that you can reach out to every time you want to do something, and be able to use them as a sounding board. So I think so I'm a platinum partner. As I say, I was the first partner. I'll tell you that story in a second. But I'm a platinum partner. I think it was October.
How many levels of partnership are there?
I think there's 4.
4?
Yeah.
I wonder what level we are. Maybe not platinum, but I get to sit with a platinum member.
I think you're not on the finance side. You're probably on the technology side.
We're on the media. We're on the storytelling side.
Okay,
we're on
sure.
the storytelling side.
So
we're platinum storytellers. How about that?
Yeah. Look, let's go into that direction. Now, one day. I think it was about 2014. We had just done the implementations. I liked what I was seeing out of Restaurant 365. It was exciting. We were starting our business. Our business started in 2008. I got involved full time in 2013. So it was great timing between us and Restaurant 365. So I was in constant touch with Morgan and John Moody and Morgan as the co-founders, and they were very supportive. Went to a lot of the conferences, and I think the first dinner they ever had where they hosted people, we were involved in that. And I think they were really worried about what it was going to cost, because there were 10 people there, and they had never done this before. Is it going to be worth it?
What's the ROI?
And what's the ROI about these 3 companies? It was us. It was Blaze Pizza, us meaning Popeyes, Blaze Pizza, Urbane Cafe, and I think there was Capriano's.
Okay.
So it was the 4 of us.
Wow.
And so these were their early adopters, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they were just really nervous. There were 10 people there. We started ordering drinks, all the rest of it, and they were worried Where was the dinner? It was in one of the restaurants in Vegas.
Okay.
And they were worried about what this bill was going to cost,
sure,
because they'd never done this before. So it was pretty interesting when you go back to those days and then you see an event like this.
You see an event like this,
where they're having a whole big party tomorrow night.
Yeah.
But there was one Sunday morning. We had just set up our website. Everything was great. I reached out on a Sunday morning to Morgan and John, and I said, we'd like to be a partner of yours. I said, we like the software. Would you mind if we add you to our website? We were in the process of setting up our website. And they thought it was like the greatest thing in the world that somebody wanted to add them to their website. Sure. So they sent us a logo. We put their logo on our website, and the rest was history.
That's
so
amazing.
That was. I just remember that day sitting in the parking lot at Equinox Gym. I had some extra time, and I'm thinking, we really need to have a page where we have strategic partners. And I reached out to them.
Very important.
And they within minutes they both responded and said that would be awesome.
Why is that important?
For us, it's important to show who we associate ourselves with, right? As far as these are the companies that we associate ourselves with. So we took a risk at an early stage, saying that we're not with Compete, we're with Restaurant 365, yep. And we've made that decision. So when you ask why it's important, I'm talking about from a provider standpoint. In addition, what it did for us is it started actually creating a relationship where they actually felt we were partners, and we started slowly taking our clients off QuickBooks and off other programs and moving them over onto Restaurant 365. And eventually we got to a point where we were 50-50, and we made a company decision. We made a executive decision that we're only going to support one software, and we moved. At that point, we didn't give our clients a choice. We moved them all over onto Restaurant 365. The one thing which has always been a little bit of a concern for us is the AP. They never had AP, right? When we started with them, it was basic general ledger package. So we at the same time, plethora was coming was coming out with their product. So we partnered with them as well, and we've kind of kept both partnerships, and that's kind of how we've done it. Every single one of our clients has both products. There's a few of them that have asked to go onto Restaurant 365, and we put them on there because it's a partner and they requested it. But I would say 90% of it is 90% of them is Restaurant 365 for the financial and plethora for the invoice routing and matrix approval.
Yeah, it's interesting to me when you talk about the partner relationship, because I just showed you before we started this is the tech stack that we have as a Cali barbecue. We publish our tech stack, and it's something that we teach other restaurants that are listening to this show that typically we don't think of it when we're in the B2C side. Right. It's definitely more of a B2B signaling to the market that these are people that are preferred partners.
Correct.
But I would argue that there's a huge opportunity for us to signal who our technology partners are, who our primary food vendors are. If we're a Pepsi product, if we're Coke, whatever it is, you make those decisions.
Correct.
In your restaurant.
Correct.
Why would you not signal it to the people that care? And trust me, most people aren't going to care about our barbecue business.
Correct.
What point of sale we're using, what accounting service we're using. But the people that do care, which we know are a lot of restaurant owners who we follow each other.
Correct.
We're on Instagram, we're on TikTok, we're on LinkedIn, Correct. We're listening to podcasts. And I want to know if one of my friends that owns 20 restaurants in Chicago, if he's using something that I don't know about, right. I would love for him to tell me about that.
That's right. Absolutely. And I think that's a nice thing. What you see at this conference is that Restaurant 365 always used to be a standalone, allowing APIs and allowing all these different companies to come in, but now they've actually developed a whole partnership program.
Yes.
With and it's not just in finance, right?
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's in accounting and communication and everything else, yep. Right? So it's I think that's made a big difference, because now you're really dealing with. You're dealing not just with a software company that handles accounting. You're dealing with a software company that supports the restaurant industry and everything related to the industry, whether it's marketing, whether it's repairs, whether it's outsourcing to the Philippines, whatever it may be. Right? They bring everything that, as a restaurant owner, as a restaurant supporter, that you'd be interested in.
So if you were giving a keynote to all of the restaurant owners that are on Restaurant 365, what is the most important report for them to use on a weekly basis?
I think, there's so many reports and so many people are developing their own reports. We've developed a lot of our own reports, but as far as custom reports that are coming out of Restaurant 365, it's definitely just really simply looking at a prime profit report, right? Just being
how often?
Every single week.
Every week
and as close to Monday as you can, right? So you want to see it as soon as the week's over. You want to be able to adjust. You want to be able to make adjustments before the next week, before you get too far into the next week. And you want to know by the time you get to the end of the month, when you're dealing with historical financials, that you've been able to have as big an impact as you can to manage those numbers. And you didn't wait till the end of the month and you're halfway into the next month before you made adjustments.
So this might sound like an ignorant question, especially for a Restaurant 365 audience, but we have a lot of single unit restaurant owners that also listen to this.
Correct.
How do you get a weekly financial report? What actual things have to happen in the restaurant for you to be able to produce a weekly financial report?
Great question. So as far as getting the report, you're pushing a button, right? So that's
sure.
Easy.
But inputs need to come in order to get that.
So you look, if you want your numbers as accurate as possible, you need to take an inventory, some sort of an inventory.
Weekly
right?
inventory.
A weekly inventory, but it may
weekly inventory. That's counting everything.
It could be counting your high priced items, right? Okay. So your high volume items. So it depends. It depends on the concepts, because some concepts are very, very stable, and they get orders, they get deliveries 6 or 7 days a week.
Yep.
So they really go through all their products. So it's not as important, right? But the ones that build up a lot of inventory, it's much more important because it moves the numbers.
Yep.
But you definitely got to take some sort of an inventory, and it all depends on your concept. You got to get your invoices into the system right away as soon as you receive them, because those are the things that are going to move the numbers, right? And the other thing is you got to be making sure you're loading your sales and doing your bank recs and on top of your cash all the time, because you want to know that you're dealing with real numbers, that you're dealing with your full sales, your full cost of goods, you're not missing any invoices. And the third thing is labor, which is one of the great things about Restaurant 365. It was one of the first times I ever actually even saw this, where they pull the labor directly from the POS, and you got real labor right there every single day.
Amazing.
Yeah, which has been terrific. So it's been able to, and those reports have been very, 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 very close. Unless, to your point, unless you're not taking a full inventory, the labor is going to be close, right? Because you're putting the numbers, and as long as you have good procedures in place and people are clocking in and clocking out, you're going to capture your labor. And there's the opportunity to put in salaried labor as well, plus benefits. So you're getting your real labor. I mean, it's as real as it's going to be, other than somebody not clocking out. As far as the cost of goods, that's the more challenging one, because you've got to make sure you're counting your inventory and you've got all your invoices and you're not missing any invoices. And your sales are straightforward. As long as you've got a good system and you're posting your sales every day, you've got all that. So it's really not a lot of work to give you some very useful and accurate information that really controls your business. I mean, when you think about it, that's roughly 60% of your costs. Yeah. Anywhere between 50 and 60% of your costs that you're managing on a weekly basis.
Very important. So every single week on Wednesday and Friday on the social audio app Clubhouse, you can join us, come up on stage, tell us about your restaurant. If you're a content creator, if you're a sales, marketing, digital hospitality leaders from all over the globe. It is our micro community where, as a podcast, if you're listening to this, we want to hear from you. Stay curious, get involved, ask for help. You've done the curiosity part. You found the show. You're watching it on YouTube. You're listening. But we need you to come on stage, take the next step, tell us about your journey, tell us about what you're building, and hopefully we can help you along the way. If people want to reach out to you, what's the best way for them to do that?
Always call website info.
What's the website?
It's rrfmg.com.
Okay, we'll put a link in the show notes for you guys.
Appreciate it. You can always get me at Wayne at rrfmg.com.
Okay.
And phone numbers, you can give
it
out.
Absolutely.
Yeah, 818, company numbers 818-888-9579. And my mobile, anyone's welcome to call it, 818-679-9595.
That's awesome. Well, we appreciate it, Wayne. As always, if you guys want to get in touch with me, it's at Shawn P. Walchef, ShawnP. WALCHEF. That's on Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, Threads, all the platforms. I'm weirdly available. What's important is your digital hospitality journey. Wayne, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to meet a legend.
Thank you.
As yourself. Thank you for helping so many.
Or a Restaurant 365 legend.
Right? A Restaurant 365. No, you're a hospitality legend.
Well,
you're a digital hospitality legend. The only way restaurants grow is by finding the right humans that embrace the right technology, and then we can really make an impact on our community and do some really cool things. So
great.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
It's a
Thank
pleasure.
you for the time.
Thank you. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you guys next week.